Good morning, grade 10s, and welcome to your English lesson. So some of you have asked to see what our studio guest looks like, and that is Buster. So he will be joining us again this morning. There doesn't seem to be a cat outside, so we're quite grateful about that. But nonetheless, Buster, say hello to the grade 10s. Good morning, grade 10s. Now that's where you say good morning, Mrs. Herron and Buster. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today's lesson comes to you at a time that before I start recording, I need to tell you that we have no news yet as to where we're going and what's going to happen. We know that President Cyril Ramaphosa, or Cyril as we've got to know him now, has put us onto stage or level 4. As from Monday the 1st or Friday the 1st of May. But what that means for you and for me and for education, I can't tell you. What I cannot ever tell you is that right at the beginning, that very first Monday of lockdown, I sent you pages that looked like this with instructions and then a lot of work from your English Green Bird book and your Via Africa book. So today, I'm not going to do anything new. I'm going to go through with you exactly what needs to be in your language book so that we're all on the same page if we do get back to school in the next week. And if we don't, then I know that you've done the work already. Now, grade 10s, it is a lot of work. I realize that. But I also know that I gave it to you like 4 weeks ago. So if you haven't started, well, you got a problem, eh? All right, I want to bring to your attention, though, please, in this letter, one of some very important parts that I want you to look at. All work is to be done in the front of your English language book, the thick black hardcover book 1. Again, if you do not have this book with you, do your work on paper so that it can be pasted into your book when possible. If there's an exercise that you've done before, you obviously don't have to do it again. Irrelevant of who your English teacher is, make sure that you stay up to date with this English work, so do it please. And then each exercise, and guys, this is very important, so you need to listen carefully. Each exercise must be presented with a date and a heading. Now your dates are all going to be different because you're doing your work at your own pace, and I'm quite happy with that as long as you tell me when you did it. With a date and a heading, and must be underlined once completed. Write out the full sentences. Do not, and look, I even put it in bold. Let me show you. Do not take shortcuts by just giving answers. You know that's unacceptable. Write out the whole thing. All right. And of course, as always, be kind to those who love you. Stay home to stay safe. Now that I sent out on the 1st of April. Okay, so that's like a month ago. Let's have a look first, then let's concentrate on the Green Bird book. Now the Green Bird book gave you a lot of different work. Let's put that book away because we don't want that there now. Good. The Green Bird book. The first one I want you to look at is number 1, conjunctions. And if you look there, all you had to do, grade 10s, was write out. Well, first you needed to look at this conjunctions and what a conjunction is, all right? And we did this at the end of last term, so it's basic revision. And then you had to do exercise 5, this little piece here where you rewrite this paragraph, filling in the conjunctions from there. So that's number 1. Number 2 was on page 72 and 73. And we have it here, and this is prepositions, and again we did prepositions in class at the end of last term, so this is again basic revision. It tells you all about prepositions on page 73, and then it carries on page 74, and I want you to do this exercise there, and there exercise 3 on page 72. When you look at active and passive voice, that would be on page 222 and 223. Yes, it would be 222 and 223. You will have a whole lot, and this is a good thing to have. So if you want to copy this into your book, you're welcome to, but make sure that and you've been doing this since you were little, so I'm not worried that you're not quite sure how it works. I just want you to do it as revision. Focusing on grammar on page 222, active and passive voice, the construction of the passive voice, and if you turn over, then it gives you a exercise to do, and it's exercise 4 and 5. Remember, rewrite these sentences in the passive voice. And then number 5, rewrite these sentences in the active voice. So that's there. Then you have number 4. Now, number 4, grade 10s, you need to be very, very aware of, because it deals with advertisements. Now, advertisements will be in every exam that you write from now to the end of your matric year. So it's something that you've grown used to. It's something that you've grown up with. You use an advertisement, an advert break, to go to the kitchen to get something to nibble on or to do something else quickly. But an advert has such a subtle effect on us that we're not even aware of how we're being brainwashed with adverts. But nonetheless, I need you to look on page 113 at the AIDA principle in advertising, and this green block needs to be copied into your book. You need to make this your own. You need to understand this. And we're going to come back to the AIDA principle just now in this Via Africa book. And then answer the questions on the mighty King Steersburger. Sorry guys, I know we can't get Steersburgers, but I want to sing to this burger. We'll meet again. I'm sure we will. And then I want you also to have a good look at the advert here on page 114, and you don't have to do the 114 exercise, but have a look at the advert and work, see if you can answer these questions. Then we go to another one that I almost want to guarantee there will be a question on this in your final paper from now until the end of your matric year, and that is direct and indirect speech. And again, there's a whole block on how one should approach it on page 33 and 34. And then I've given you a little exercise just here at the bottom. Change these sentences from direct into reported speech, and there are 5 of them. Okay? Then, if you look at number 6 is on page 64 and 65. And number 6 deals with integrated language studies. So it's a whole lot of different things that we're going to be testing you on. And it's on these blue purple pages, and I want you to do part 3. So there's something there on verbs and subjects. Look and see if you can do that. But I wanted you to concentrate then on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, please. You can do those exercises for me. And then, very interesting, I gave you an exercise on dictionary work on page 51 and 52. Now, grade 10s, I gave you this to do because I feel that this is almost a dying art, the use of a dictionary, knowing what a thesaurus is. Now, while you might look at me, or maybe not look at me, but maybe you might be thinking, come on, Mrs. Herron, who uses a dictionary? Just look up the word on our phone. It's always a good idea to know what's going on in a dictionary, okay? And therefore, I've given you, this might be a bit challenging. This exercise is going to be a bit challenging. But come on, work through it. Let's see if you can give us a thesaurus and find words for that, for those 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over there. Come on, I'd like to see you to do this exercise. It could be challenging. Something different. And then, of course, on page 272, the very last one that you have to do is the exam revision paper 1, page 272. Page 272 in your Green Bird book. And there is a comprehension test. Questions. Remember, when you do a comprehension test, 2 important things, grade 10s. You look at the mark allocation and use that as a guide to the length of your answer. Okay, the mark allocation, and then you look at what working word do they want you to do. Scan, give an antonym, explain. So look at the working word and the mark allocation. Then you need to do the section B summary, but I did make it quite clear that these instructions down here are not what we do in first additional. We write 1 paragraph in home language like you do in Afrikaans, but remember, for English we do it in 7 points, a summary of 7 points, okay? And then there is a cartoon, and there's the analyzing of an advert, and then on page 280, dictionary skills again, another little advert, and it ends on page 282. All right, I'd like to recommend that you do this one after you've finished all your language exercises in the Green Bird book as well as in the Brown Bird book. Then come back to this exam revision on page 272 of the Green book. All right. Grade 10, this is a lot of work, huh? If you haven't started, well, I'm sorry, really sorry, yeah. But you need to get this work done. Don't wait until the last minute, because it's going to be a mess then. Work systematically every day. I haven't been giving you a lot of homework with the poems. They're basically 5 little questions, but I know that you're overworked. I know that all the subjects are giving you homework. So I'm sorry about that, but we have to do the work. All right. Let's look at Via Africa and what I've asked for you to do there. Now, for Via Africa, we need to do, first of all, we're going to look at the logical connectors. Oh, that sounds so difficult. Page 111, Act 4, a logical connector. Let's find out where we can find this work. On page 111. To know what on earth is a logical connector, Mrs. Herron. Okay, here we go. A logical connector is used to join or connect 2 ideas that have a particular relationship. Okay, so it's logical, they stick together, but they're quite challenging. So do the exercise, read through it here, and you will see that there has to be a link between the 2 sentences. So look at your logical connectors, rewrite the sentence, filling in either. All right, then, grade 10s. Let's continue with your verb tenses on page 118. If you look at that, and this is quite a good thing to do, go back to basics. You studied all of this and learned all about this in junior classes. But here, you will see your verb tenses, the simple present tense, past tense, simple future tense, and then there's a little passage here for you to copy. Now remember, you copy the whole passage and fill in and underline the missing words in the correct tense. Why? It's an exercise I need you to do simply because you know monkey see, monkey do. You have to look at the words in the exam paper, and often you have to reuse them in your answer, and then you've got them in front of you and your eye's been trained to copy them correctly. All right, then idioms, proverbs and sayings on page 198. There's a little error here. It said 188 and 199. It wasn't. It was 198 and 199, and there they are, proverbs and sayings. I want you to mix the columns and match the columns 1, 2, and 3. There's no smoke without fire. Blood is thicker than water. What does it mean? All right. And then advertisements. Now, grade 10s, we looked at this in your Green Bird book, and now we're going to look at it in your Via Africa book on page 92 and 93. And there, because you copied out the green little paragraph in the Green Bird book, you'll know what's going on when we talk about the AIDA principle again here on page 92. There are a few very interesting terms that you need to know. You can even copy them into your book. Okay, and then there's an advert that you can do for me, please, on page 93. And then 94. 4 and 95 have 2 more adverts that you can work through. These are quite important. Remember that advertisements and advertising reoccur. They go over and over and repeated, and you questioned on them until your matric final paper. All right, then I've asked you on page 78 of Via Africa to look at the whole chapter almost, or unit, on cartoons. Page 78 to 83. There's nothing for you to do there. You need to read and know it. So get that, work through that, please. Look at analyzing a cartoon. If you want to do the cartoon exercise on page 82, you can, but I need you to look at words, concepts in cartoons that we see down here, and know more about cartoons just simply by studying pages 78 to 83. And in studying, I mean looking and reading through. All right, then number 6 said, when you are finished with all of this work, feel free to familiarize yourself with this textbook. Read through it and take note of all the different info in it. I think you've got quite a bit of work to do. I think this could keep you busy. And you know what? I'm getting a bit annoyed when I hear people saying, yeah, the kids have got lots of academic schoolwork to keep them busy. I'd hate to think that you come to school every day just to keep you busy. No, we're giving you this work so that you can pass grade 10. You've got to do this work. It's not to keep you busy. It's not because I'm being spiteful. It's not because I think you've got nothing to do. Come on, we've all got lots to do. Who doesn't want to sleep all day or watch television all day or stand in front of the fridge and eat all day? The bottom line is that this is not work as punishment. Come on, guys, this is not punishment. This is work you've got to do so that you can pass grade 10. So don't look at the videos. Don't look at the homework that you're being given as something that you've done wrong. Rather look at it as your job. You have to do it. Many of you have parents who are now working from home. You are working from home too. I've told you in class, and I tell you often, that being at school is your job. It is your work. So you now are a stay-at-home working person. So enjoy that. All right, grade 10s, then that is the end of this lesson. I'd like to thank you for your patience with me. I think my voice becomes monotonous and boring, and I'm so sorry for that. But I'm trying my best, and as usual, I cannot wait to see you. Good morning and thank you, grade 10s. The girls can go and the boys can follow. And while I won't be seeing you tomorrow, I know and I trust and I believe that we'll meet again. I don't know where, I don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Thank you, grade 10s.